That's loud.
Yeah. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Howdy, y'all.
Hi, guys.
It's Ryan.
And Angela.
From
this place.
RNA Music. Deep in the heart of Texas, your favorite mom and pop music lesson studio and guitar shop, home of the Nacogdoches Stephen F. Austin State University Lumberjacks. Anyways, yeah, it's another episode of Ask RNA. I got the number wrong last time. You were right, because I thought it was 316, but I wasn't. It's 315, so I think today is 316.
Okay.
316 episodes of Angela bestowing us with her wisdom.
That's right.
And me being here.
Yes.
Having a beard.
I thought you said having a beer.
Having a beard. Duh. And we're going to answer your questions. It's going to be super fun and exciting and educational and something.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. Welcome back again, Ryan.
And Angela.
And we have a little music shop in small town Canton, Texas, where we teach music, instruments, and singing stuff to people. And we sell guitars and cables and strings and picks and drumsticks and things like that. And it's time for another episode of us answering your questions. Mm-hmm. So excited.
Yeah.
It's Friday, I think.
Concise.
Concise. We're going to keep it concise because I always say concise and it's always 45 minutes and I'm always mad.
Yeah.
Because the amount of editing I have to do later on, which is all my fault. But we're going to get right to it. So we answer questions from people all over the world about all kinds of stuff and things. Regarding Texas, music, barbecue, guitars.
Yes. All kinds of stuff and things.
Stuff and things. All right. So let's get we're going to have a fun show today. I just know. It's going to be fun, I feel like.
Yeah.
Let's get to it, though. All right. First question. Just Fun Guitar, who is in England, which is over there, says, hashtag curling, hashtag KTMA. I like all sorts of food, but it doesn't always like me, though. I know what that's like, Chris. New question. Have you ever read the Dune books? What do you make of the trailer for the new movie? The books are some of my favorite fiction ever.
Ooh. Wow.
You ever read the Dune books, Mrs. RNA?
No, I have not. I didn't even know they were books until I was an adult. I didn't. So I watched the movie. My older sisters and cousins loved, and aunt and uncles, because they're kind of close together in age, and so they all loved it. And every time it would come on HBO as a kid, they would just like, "Tune's on," and it was just so obnoxiously, like, because it creeped me out. It creeped like another level. It was like someone took like their dream sequence of a nightmare, hellish nightmare, and put it to screen. Yeah! So that's how I felt. And so I never, ever, like, was ever interested in watching or thinking anything about it. So whenever I saw they were redoing it, I guess the redo is not a continuation.
Yeah, it's a reboot.
Okay, so I just was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's great. I didn't, because I have to go back. Like, when Tron came out, I actually went back and watched the original Tron, because that was another movie that was played over and over and over again in our household. And so I was like, I hated it. And so I was like, but everybody seemed to like it. I was so young. Maybe I should just come back because I'll actually understand the plot and watch it. It was bad. But I did like the reboot of Tron, Loud Trucks.
That's a Texas diesel truck.
That's an exclamation point from Texas right there. And so I feel the same way now about Dune, because I am a huge sci-fi nerd. I love sci-fi stuff. I love conspiracy theories that have to do with sci-fi, NASA, all that kind of stuff. So I love the gist of everything. So I think if I go back, since I was like, I don't know, maybe like 6 when Dune, I don't know, it was like 1984. 83, maybe 78. I don't know. It was a long time ago, because
Patrick Stewart looks the same though.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
I know it's like a star. It's like a star-studded cast. I know that much. So I think I'll have to go back. But I also know that I probably would like the books better.
Probably.
So
the books are always better than the
I'm not
movies.
discounting it. The only thing that I would ever discount, and I know I get a lot of flack, phone.
That's my phone.
Is Ryan's phone going off?
It's nobody important because that's the wrong.
That's
That's the wrong alert.
Yeah. The one thing I do get a lot of flack. Two things I get a lot of flack from that I don't care for. That is huge for our generation when we were children. Is the movie Labyrinth. Won't watch it. Seen it as a child. Hated it. Gave me nightmares. Can't go there again. Don't like it. Huge fan of Jim Henson. No thanks. And E.T. Big no. Hard pass. Hard pass. So, but I am open to revisit Dune because I remember everybody was just like, oh my gosh, we love it. You know, so there has to be something to it. Did you like it? You did?
Yeah, it's all right. I watched it. I saw it a bunch of times. Like it came on TV, and I think one of Renee's boyfriend, my older sister's boyfriend, had it on VHS or something. We watched it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it multiple times. The movie. Never read the books. Also didn't know it was a book.
Yeah.
Because you're a kid when you're like 8 and you're watching a movie. You're like, you don't think, I wonder if there's a book of this.
Right.
And you're just like,
never
wow,
really made the association
movie, you know?
from books to movies.
Yeah. So it was much later on. I think I was a teenager before I knew it was books. And I was like, I think I looked at it one time. Like that's thick. That's
yeah,
a lot of.
I do know that much.
They're very in
they're
depth.
Epic
But
novels.
I did watch the movie several times. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as like Star Wars or.
Yeah.
It wasn't the top sci-fi movie that I just could watch over and over, but I did watch it multiple times. I've probably seen it 10 or 15 times in my life.
I always think like Tremors is like Redneck Dune.
Great value Dune.
No, just Redneck.
Redneck
like,
Dune.
Let's just put it on in our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting. I've seen the trailer. I was like, well, there's not going to be any surprises, obviously. Like, I wonder what's going to happen.
Unless they kill Han Solo again.
They could, maybe, but I'll probably watch it. I don't know if we'll go to the theaters to watch it, but I think I'd like to see it. But
I'd have to watch the original first before I see the remake.
Yeah.
So
Never
I
read
can
the books,
appreciate what they did, and I can, I would have to do that.
Never read the books. Haven't. Probably won't.
I might go to the library and check it out just to see. I have to call them first and see if they actually have a copy.
I just get it on Amazon for like $4.
That's true. That's true.
Fine. Thank you, Just Fun Guitar. What do you guys think? Any of y'all Dune fans out there? I know Adam Lamar is.
Oh, I would believe that.
I believe Adam is a Dune.
That
you
makes
can see
sense.
that. Makes sense.
I can see even Pat being a Dune fan.
Well, he lives on Arrakis. So.
Yeah. he can appreciate the
I mean, Australia
desert
is basically Arrakis.
Yes.
So, what are you going to do? I'm surprised. I'm sure they do have giant underground worms in Australia.
I think they do, yes.
Thanks for the question, Just Fun Guitar. Next question, Terry Starks. Is there something like a hobby or a recreation sort of thing, etc., that you have taken up lately or want to do that is totally different from anything you have ever done before that everybody else says, has that girl or boy lost their mind? I came home with a longboard yesterday from a mom and pop shop here in Dallas, and now you can see me wobbling up and down the street waiting for my broken insert body parts here to happen. I love it, but baby thinks I'm crazy. Again, hashtag KTman. So Terry's skateboarding.
Oh, nice.
On a longboard. I'm like,
good for it.
yeah. Because we're talking about being busy. We didn't go to NAMM because we're too busy living life. Any hobbies that people are like, what are you doing?
No. I
No.
don't
You have a very tame hobby called crochet.
Yeah.
You have a very old lady hobby.
Oh, what are you making? That's usually it. I'm making a Moroccan blanket that I found a pattern for, but that's about it. That's the extent of my, because I don't like roller coasters. I don't like breaking anything. I don't like potential hospital bills. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not hobby. Now, the things I'd like to do, I'd like to go on a cruise because I've never been on a cruise before.
Yeah, but
because
sharks
I
involved.
had a father that was just like that. He was like, well, because you'd have to swim back.
If something happens to this giant boat,
you die.
which we know sink because
so that's
Titanic.
what I grew up with, and then I married. So I have never been on a cruise before, and I would love to. My mom and I've talked about doing that, just us two, just she and I.
But not like, oh, you know, I think I'm gonna start riding rodeo horses as an adult.
No, I love horses, but no, because that's again hospital bills. Because we had a friend that actually had that happen. She got flung. So no, not the moment. I don't think there's really anything that I would like to break or tempt fate at this time, because the world's already crazy as it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think we have anything that's unexpected. Like, I like to go to the range and put holes in paper, which is fun, but that's not necessarily crazy for people here. It's like, oh,
Right.
here's a big beardy guy in Texas likes to go to the gun range and shoot stuff. How shocking. You know,
Right.
it's not, that's sort of like, of course you do.
It's more like, what took you so long?
What, of course you do.
Yeah.
The only other thing was lately we talked about before about Adam skateboarding, and he was telling me about how there's a secret skateboard park close to his house in Austin, and when I come down to help him finish the Warefoot album that he's not working on, we're gonna go skateboarding. I'm like, now I used to skateboard when I was a kid, so like junior high, the late '80s.
Right.
So it's not like I've never skateboarded at all.
Right.
It has been several decades, multiple.
Right.
Over 3 decades since I've rode a skateboard, but I'm pretty sure it's like riding a bike. You just get back on and it's all fine. You're doing ollies and kick flips and 720s, and it's like, it'll be fine. Angela thinks I'm a little crazy for wanting to do that, but it's not that I've never done it.
I said that you should record it because I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it would be awesome.
I think someone needs to have like a low camera ready so that if Ike shows up and y'all are just rolling, y'all should be like shades on and be like,
Rolling,
get a
rolling.
kit, just get a pan of y'all just rolling, being like,
rolling with the homies,
you know, and have like ask like a bunch of little kids with skateboards and be like, oh my god.
Now, freaking Terry Starks' rollers is
Be
riding
like,
skateboards.
yeesh.
I gotta go ride skateboards too now, Terry. Now it's just like I gotta make it happen.
You have to do it.
Any hobbies you guys picked up recently that people think you're insane for doing? Tell us down below. That would be awesome. And by the way, if you would like some swaggity swag like Angela's
Ka-chow.
RNA Music t-shirt, we have a link down below in the description of this video, and you can go check out our Teespring store and get you some swaggity swag RNA Music t-shirts in various designs. You know, people person, but I hate people. The Force T, whatever. Go get you some if you want to. There's some stuff down there. We're in discussions with somebody, not local, but in Dallas, to start printing t-shirts for us here in Texas again. So we, in addition to the Teespring store, which we will not get rid of, but we may start adding some more shirts here locally. So stay tuned for that. All right, next question, Sinner's Dwarf. Sinner's Dwarf, also in the England. The spicier the food, the better, until the following day.
That's the truth.
Angela knows this. Facts.
Facts. That's why you have to continue.
I know better.
Them.
You just eat every day. Spicy food every day.
All the
It's
time.
never the next day.
Right.
He says, how do you feel about Kirk Hammett joining Gibson? Hashtag curling. Yeah! All right, spicy gossip of the week. Kirk Hammett
So spicy.
of Metallica, who's been an ESP Guitars endorsee since the 80s, is now has a deal with Gibson Guitars.
Good for him.
He's going to have some signature
why not?
Les Pauls. Like 2 days, like a day before yesterday, Gibson announced it. Introducing our new artist, Kirk Hammett. And they're going to be doing some Kirk Hammett signature guitars. That's interesting news. Just popped up. I saw that when that came up yesterday or whatever. I'm like, what in the world? But according to Kirk's Instagram, he's still an ESP Guitars artist. So he's...
Okay.
Which is interesting that he's still with ESP, but yet he has this deal with Gibson. The evilest company of all time in the guitar industry. Corporately. They're freaking super evil on a corporate, from a corporate standpoint. Not the people in the factory sanding the guitars and sanding them. Those are the actual people who build the guitars. I'm talking about upper management and the overlords of the company that owns Gibson, and that they, you know, trying to put other people out of business, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, but Kirk's with them now, but also with ESP, which that is the really interesting thing to me. I was like, how did that work out?
I don't know. Money. It's all about the Benjamins.
It is all about the Benjamins.
About the money.
My thought about that is, though, I was like, because they just signed Dave Mustaine a few months ago.
Right.
So Dave Mustaine, who was fired from Metallica and then replaced by Kirk Hammett in Metallica, is with Gibson guitars now, has signature guitars and stuff. So, so they got Dave Mustaine, and now they have Kirk. And my thought was, I was like, I wonder why they didn't go get James. Yeah. Because let's be fair, I think I have to double check this, but I feel like they sell more James Hetfield guitars than the Kirk Hammett guitars. Now there are a lot of ESP and LTD Kirk Hammett signature guitars that have been sold, but I think James has sold even more.
Maybe.
So you think Gibson would be like, hey, James. And James, just like Kirk, like in the records and recording, they play Gibson guitars. They will play some of their Gibsons on stage, and when they're recording the albums, they'll use their Gibsons, and they'll also use their ESPs. So I find it funny that, why didn't they get James first? And I don't know this for a fact. I don't know. But my thought is they probably asked James, and he's probably like, nah. I could see him be like, no, that's cool. I'm going with the ESP. I mean, I'm going to keep playing the Gibsons I own. Like, he doesn't need their money. Kirk doesn't need their money though either. But it's like, I could see James not being.
Does he?
Maybe he does. I don't know, but I think it would be interesting. I think it'd be weird to get Dave Mustaine and then Kirk, and then a few months later James Hetfield. It's like, we all know who the most important person of that group of three is.
Right.
So it's smart business on Gibson's side, from like, hey, let's get up as many big rock stars as we can to become, so people still, rebuild our brand image.
It's their job to put their guitars in the hands of people,
but they're not solidifying anything about the younger generation. It's like, you got two
but the
kind
younger
of old
generation
dudes now
doesn't really have money.
Yeah, that's right. Well, most hardcore Metallica and Megadeth fans are like at least my age, if not older. People who have money who can afford Gibsons.
Exactly.
Gibsons, I was gonna say they're no dummies when it comes to marketing, but they are kind of dummies. They have done some stupid stuff with marketing, but
every company does.
Yeah.
This is ran by humans.
Yeah. I think it's a weird move, honestly, because they both, Kirk and James, played their Gibsons on stage, and obviously ESP was like, that's fine. They don't play them for every song, but for some songs. But I would like to know what kind of a check Gibson wrote him to do that.
Truth.
I bet they paid him some money for that. I think it's a little weird. I think it's weird after having such a long relationship with ESP to kind of do that. But what ESP is probably going to go, I don't think ESP can fight Gibson from like a lawsuit standpoint, or what are they going to say? Like, no, I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of weird. You guys tell us what you think. What do you guys and girls think about Kirk going to Gibson, but having a multiple company deal? That's kind of weird. Most companies, and if you're that side, they want exclusivity, but I think the world of exclusivity is kind of going away.
It is. It's shrinking. It's shrinking.
There you go, Sinner's Dwarf. I think it's kind of weird. I'm probably not going to buy a Kirk Hammett Gibson. I've never bought a Kirk ESP or LTD.
I like to have one of his monster guitars.
Yeah, he said, his tweet was like, I'm still with the ESP, so I have one company. I have the monsters with one and the rock with others. So I guess that's his idea. Like they're gonna still keep doing the monster movie guitars, but then the more classic-y Gibson stuff too. It's kind of a weird situation. Very funky. Thank you, Sinner's Dwarf. Not next question. Next part of the video, which is my new favorite section of the video, called Comment of the Day.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Comment of the Day. This is the part of the video where Angela and I read a comment from last week's video from one of our viewers, one of you guys or girls. And we've been having fun with it lately, where not only do we read the comment of the day from last week, but now we make up music. So over the last multiple videos now, we've written a little song and written some music with the comment of the day. Yes. Impromptu, on the spot. You guys can believe this or not. But every one of those
make an album.
Yeah, we should. We'll have an EP.
Yes.
Once we have like 12 of these.
All the comments of the days.
12 of these comment of the day.
They're only going to be like a couple seconds long.
Yeah. Not planned out. So I'm going to write, I'm going to try to riff something right now. And she's going to come up with a melody, comment of the day. And I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
Or at least an I thought, because let's see what happens.
Okay.
Let me thinking.
Yes, you did.
Sorry, my bad. I messed that up. I was like, oh. I went to E blues for a second.
Yeah, you did.
I drifted out of A.
Yeah. Can we do any other song?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll keep that in there.
I was like,
I didn't know where the end of the song was. Sorry, I was like,
yeah, that was it. 'Cause if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. You can dodge a ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I was trying to go bluesy because this week also brought us the final days of the great late Dusty Hill of ZZ Top, who passed away this week, which was crazy. So I thought, I mean,
He lived a long, good life.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of too soon.
Yeah. So that was the big, and then also Joey Jordison of Slipknot passed away this past week. So there was a lot of celebrity passings in the music scene just in this last week, which is crazy. So comment of the day: if they bring dodgeball to the Olympics, I'd be totally in. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That is true.
That's true.
You're spitting facts, Walking Dead.
Yep.
So yeah, I would probably watch Olympic dodgeball.
I would too, especially if they're throwing wrenches.
Yeah, dodge wrench. That's what we're playing.
No, they just say like wild card, a part of the dodgeball, and you don't know what they're going to pull out of the box.
Ooh.
And you have to dodge it, and it could be a wrench.
Surprise dodge. Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Thank you for the comment of the day. Walking Dead always has a high percentage chance of Walking Dead because he leaves 700 comments, which is amazing. I'm not complaining. Keep it up. Keep it up because the algorithm loves
your comments are entertaining in and of itself.
Yeah,
so.
They're great. Thank you for comment of the day. Walking Dead. I have to rewrite that song. Do better riffs next time. All right, tactical six string. I would actually like to hear what all is the deal with playing in church. Is it for worship, just enjoyment? Is the payment involved? Is it after sermons? These are my questions. I don't attend church, hoping I'll get the lifetime of being moral when I get up there pass. Hashtag curling. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way.
So you're kind of out of luck, homie.
In Christianity, it doesn't
work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some other places it might work that way.
Yeah.
So we talked about being a church musician last week and playing in church. So tactical six string doesn't go to church, doesn't know anything about that. So basically, which is fair, basically what happens at a church service, in general, we'll talk about Christianity at least,
right?
Which there are various sort of branches of that and denominations. They all do it a little bit differently, but in general, whether you're Catholic, Presbyterian,
Lutheran, Baptist, Methodist,
Protestant, whatever. Generally, you have at a service, there's music and congregational singing, where the congregation, the attendees, will all sing together in unison, and then a pastor or a minister or a bishop or a priest or whoever will get up and read from the Bible, read from the scriptures, share a message, generally of encouragement, and then close, and then everybody goes and eats chicken and watch the Dallas Cowboys lose.
Or at least in Texas.
In Texas.
Or the South.
That's kind of in the South, yeah. I'm not really sure what they do up in the North. They watch baseball or something after church or something.
Depends on the season.
But in generally, so the point of the music side of the things really is that for the congregation, which is all the attendees, to sing along. Yeah. And so it depends on the church, but in the old days, it was basically sometimes you just have a piano player and that's it. Sometimes a piano player and a choir, and then they would play, hymns, and everybody would sing together.
Right, which are old songs written 200 to 400 years ago. 200, 300 to 400 years ago, not 2 years, 3 years to 400 years ago.
Hundreds of years. Usually the hymns are several hundred years old.
Yes, that are usually piano-driven music. No guitars, no drums, and organ, pipe organ.
Yep.
And
sometimes there's just a choir.
A choir to sing, or one person to stand up to lead the congregation as they read the music and sing along with a director at the front of the church to sing, while the pianist or organist accompanies them. So that's what a traditional service prior to maybe the 1970s was pretty across the board in most churches in America, especially America. But as the rise of the Jesus movement in the 70s and the hippies and, peace, love, dope, and all this stuff happened, guitars.
And the popularity of guitars.
Yes, through rock and roll.
And the blues.
Came through, and people started writing songs of worship on their guitars, on the beach, on the bus, and everywhere. And street performers popped up in the 70s, and they kind of incorporated it into the church buildings. A lot of churches still hold fast to the traditional organ, pianist, and choir director. But a lot of the contemporary churches that have adopted the more modernistic view of worship, they adapted it to more of a band, worship team, a band type setting, where you have a drummer, electric, acoustic, guitars, a bass, pianist, a keyboard usually, and vocalist. So not necessarily a choir. Some churches do both. It's just across the board, so many different tastes and genres. A lot of people try to adapt it to who attends the church. If you have a predominantly older church over the age of 65, you'll see them lean towards more of a traditional service. If you have
That was like a Texas motorcycle.
Yeah. If you have a very good blend and a younger pastor, you will have a blend of both. If you have a really young pastor and a predominantly young church, you will have mostly a band type led service.
The point of it all, though, is to lead the entire congregation, all of the attendees to sing worship, sing music, to the Lord, basically.
Yes, it's like in cooking. It's like the first part of the ingredients are getting put together. It's preparing the hearts of people to receive anything. All types of entertainment adopt this type of mentality. That's why they bring out pre-performers, or they do stuff before you get the big show. Church is the same. It's
kind of to set the mood to hear the sermon or the
So it's getting your mind off of grocery list and yelling at each other in the car, or your sadness or your anger or whatever, and kind of getting your heart kind of focused in, like meditation. And music does that very well, so they incorporate that. So now you're kind of like, okay, my focus is where it should be, on God, and now I can receive whatever message the pastor has for me today.
Yeah. So as far as payment involved, it depends. I mean, it depends on the size. There are some churches where the musicians are paid. Traditionally, in the bigger churches where they have had an organist and a pianist, they were generally paid.
Traditionally, I think it's more denominational.
Yeah, like larger Methodist, Baptist. I don't know about Catholic churches, but if somebody can play the organ, that is an in-demand skill. Not just everybody can play the freaking organ. Lots of people can learn to play the guitar. Not a lot of people play the organ, and not a lot of people play the piano necessarily well enough to do that. So in bigger churches, a lot of times the musicians are paid or compensated. Smaller churches generally not, because there's no budget for that, of course. And some there's a mix where you might have one person, the director, or someone might be compensated in some way, and the rest are volunteers. Some churches, everyone's a volunteer. It just really depends. So it kind of, there's no one blanket fits all statement on that. But in some churches there are, and in some there not. And in some churches there are no music. Like the Church of Christ is one of the other big denominations. There's one right down the street from us. There's no instruments. It's only a cappella. Everyone sings. There's one person who stands up and kind of directs. We're going to sing this song. Turn to page 432. 1, 2, 3. And then they zero instruments in that denomination. So, which is interesting.
And it sounds beautiful.
They're all pretty good. We've been to a funeral at a Church of Christ
a couple times,
and it was everybody sings pretty good.
It was powerful.
There's no organs or guitars or drums to hide behind, so you just have to sing.
And it seemed I don't know if it's a prerequisite or it just happens because you've been doing it all your life, but everybody knows their different parts. So they're literally singing bass, tenor, alto, soprano, and everything in between. They literally have parts. Not that they are assigned parts, but they just know it. Yeah, it's really neat, and it sounds so beautiful. But anyways,
so there you go, tactical 6-string. We're glossing over, a lot of that. So, and people are welcome to give their input on well, my church does it this way. It's cool. And somebody else's church
because it's not a perfect fit for everybody.
Right.
Because again, it just depends on your area, depends on your ethnicity sometimes.
So even
black churches do it differently.
They have drums and bass and organ, but they're not playing the same style of music that the other church that's got guitar, drums, and bass.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a whole nother.
And the organ players in the African American church is not the same as the giant pipe organ that.
Yeah. Now some of them do.
Yeah, some of them for sure.
So some of them do, but a lot of small town black churches, just like Pentecostal churches, they'll just have a small, small clicky, small thing.
You should go visit some.
You should.
I mean, you don't have to sign up and join a church or nothing, but just go visit.
Curiosity.
What would be cool? You should maybe do, because I'm not saying you got to become a Christian or join any church or whatever, but for own musical research, go to 5 or 6 or 7 different denominations and just watch oh man, they do it like this over here, that's interesting.
Yeah,
they do it like this over here, that's interesting.
Yeah, and leave after worship.
Yeah,
people do that all the time.
They're not gonna stop you.
Just sit at the back, don't make eye contact. Just sit at the back and just go in, listen to their worship, move on.
Yeah, as a musician and a fan of music, you might find that really interesting and educational.
And see how many talented people they
really are. We kind of talked last week about, in general, small churches, it's your weekend warrior musicians and that kind of thing. But, having said that, there are, in all churches and all places, there's also people who are amazing. I've been to some African American churches, because I was in a gospel group that I played drums with. And man, those gospel drummers, who are not pro musicians, are insanely good. And the keyboard players and the bass players,
because they've been playing since they were 5.
Yeah,
but boy, get up on up there.
They're playing the bass.
On them drums.
I'm
play something.
Generally, they're insanely good. But that's my baby. He's been on the drum set accompanying the pastor since he was 3, and now he's 23, and he's ridiculously good. You'll see there's a lot of musicians that come out I've been playing in church for 30. Whitney Houston, freaking Whitney. You know where she learned to sing? Church.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
There's a new movie coming out about her.
About Aretha?
Jennifer Hudson's playing her. It's gonna be good.
I hope so.
I know I'm gonna cry.
It better
Actually, before Aretha Franklin died, she said, "You're gonna play me."
Oh, wow.
Like Aretha told her.
No pressure.
Right? They were like, when Aretha's sister said, yeah, Aretha herself picked Jennifer to play her.
Well, when the queen tells you you're going to do something,
I'll be like, yes, ma'am.
You kind of have to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tactical Six String. Oh, and then another question. Next question, also Tactical Six String. He kind of cheated and got 2 questions. Dang it. Okay. I didn't even notice. I said, question. Yeah! So I do drink soda. I love it. I don't down more than 2 to 3 a day. But I hate diet soda and have heard it is bad shizzle in it. Anyway, have you looked into the diet soda and the aspartame that's in it? That stuff is bad for you from what I've read. Well, you know what's really bad for you, Tactical Six String? High fructose corn syrup and refined sugar. Absolutely is bad for you.
Right.
We were talking about health last week or the next 2 weeks and talking about that stuff as I sip on my diet Mountain Dew.
Here's my take, okay? Because I'm not the kind of avid, like, I have to have something to drink that's something like he is. Like, he has to have something, like, substantial, like, to drink.
I gotta have something with flavor in it.
Yes, he has to. So
I mean, I can drink water. But
I don't care for diet drinks, but I've noticed, and this is just facts, this is just truth, because it's my personal truth, because I've just seen it across the board.
What you've observed.
Yes, because my dad has diabetes, and 2 of my sisters do, and my grandma, my dad's mom, died of diabetes. So, and we were all avid, regular soda drinkers. Okay, so regular pop. So, whenever we switched to diet, the numbers spoke for themselves. That's, you know, my grandmother wasn't really a soda. Her thing was more like pastries and sweets. So that actually did her in, like actual sugar pastries and cooking and baking and cornbread and muffins and stuff like that, because she's an Alabama grandma. But my dad, definitely, when he would go from drinking like a cup of Kool-Aid made with 2 cups of sugar to mix it, because that's how we made it, 2 cups of sugar.
I only did 1 cup, man.
2 cups.
So what's up?
Because you want it to be like this gelatinous goop that
you want it to taste good.
You want it to hurt your muscles when you're stirring it, and then when finally you hear that, cherry. So my dad would get that, like a big glass of, and so I grew up having like real sugar in our lives, and his health, his gut size, everything was always an issue. You know, but
even though he worked hard,
even though he did, he's a massive, strong man. He's just always been a strong man. Alabama cornbread, raised buttermilk, drinking,
baseball, coach,
played for Alabama A&M football, just big guy. But once he switched over to diet drinks, his numbers, his health, his ability to stay out longer increased. So I don't necessarily think that the numbers are real whenever I've personally experienced. Now, honestly, I think that there is some harm to drinking too many diet drinks, just like anything, because it's not real water.
Right.
There's water in it, but it can't replace drinking water. And like the other day, I didn't drink my diet drinks for a whole entire day. I was like, I'm not going to drink diet drinks. I'm going to get as much water as possible. Because I drink the water, but I wanted to just knock out the diet drinks. And I lost like 2 pounds in just a couple of days because I had to retain so much salt. Because that's another thing in
sodium.
The sodium in drinks, period.
But that's diet sodas and regular sodas.
That's in both. So when I cut that out, that helped. But when it comes to the aspartame, really there's not a whole lot of real science to back it, because the money is
some propaganda, though.
The money is in honestly keeping people obese through regular processed sugar than it is through diet drinks.
Yeah. I was never really into diet drinks before either. I'm like, I just rather have real soda. And like same thing, like I read a study that said you get fatter drinking diet sodas, or you get cancer or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, probably shouldn't have that.
Right, you did.
And then I finally started watching this guy who's like, everything he made, he used sweet and low or artificial sweeteners. He's like, listen, it's not going to give you cancer. You're fine. It's not. He's like, because he was, master's degree, all this sort of stuff. He's talking about like this. Listen, there are no real peer-reviewed studies that show or prove that artificial sweeteners give you cancer, which is the argument. It gives you cancer. He's like, there's no studies that prove that. I mean, there are like, we did this in And, we'll do like this sort of study. He's like, but if you actually go in and read it, it's like, that's not a legit study. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, huh. So he's kind of convinced him. But we know for a fact, there are studies that, too much consumption of sugar, table sugar, or high fructose corn syrup will give you diabetes.
Yes, and heart disease.
And diabetes, and leads to all these other things. So I was like, that's a fact. And he also
fatty livers and everything.
And everything he says, like, we also know for a fact the sun will give you cancer. So if you are worried about aspartame and that stuff, he's like, you probably every single time you go outside, you put on sunblock, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, no, nobody's going. If you go to the beach, yeah, but anytime you walk outside, are you putting on sunblock? Well, why not? Because the sun gives you cancer. He's like, listen,
the sun doesn't give you cancer.
You can't drink enough. You can't drink enough diet soda for it to really impact you. So I thought that was good, and so I started drinking them. And of course, I've lost 45 pounds in the last year, and it's like I'm in way better health now than I was when I was not drinking.
I've dropped 40 pounds, and I've kept it off because I haven't gone back to regular drinks. Now, I do need to lose another 25 pounds, but I've been able to keep it off because my diet isn't 100%. So, but because I don't add regular sodas to because always whenever I would drink regular sodas, I was always extra thirsty. I was always constantly thirsty. I would drink a Dr. Pepper and my mouth seemed to get drier, and I'd want to drink another Dr. Pepper. And then it would just feel like it was just this constant cycle because there's that stuff that's in
sugar.
It that's just
addictive.
Messes you up. Yeah. But that's our personal experience. You take it however you want to. Do the research, try it out, find a diet drink that you actually like. Like, I didn't like diet soda until recently, and there's a whole bunch of other different people trying to say, Mountain Dew this and that. And there's all kinds of other things that can deter you from drinking whatever. Mm-hmm. But I liked the regular like packets that you would add to bottled water. Like, you can get like
just flavor packets.
That, yes, they have aspartame. Back in the day, Crystal Light was the big thing growing up. My mom loved Crystal Light.
Not Crystal Meth.
No, Crystal Light. Crystal Light was huge. Diet Tab, Diet Coke, and Crystal Light were the go-to diet drinks in the 80s and 90s. But
you said something the other day, like, your mom should be dead.
Yes, exactly. If that was the case, then my mom, should be
the 80s.
Just the amount of Diet Coke that woman drank. Like, it was scary. Like, how many women drank Diet Tab, and those of you who are our age will laugh because you were like, I haven't heard that in a long time. Diet Tab, unless you're in the north, they still sell it. And Diet Coke, that was always a refreshing Diet Coke. And they always have that skinny girl on the beach drinking a Diet Coke, and was it Christy Teigen or whatever her name is? She was like the hot CoverGirl model. She was always drinking a Diet, Michelle Teague, that's what it was, Michelle Teague. She would drink a Diet Coke, and Christy Brinkley would drink a Diet Coke and all this stuff. But if that was the case, my mom would be in horrible health, and she's in she's overweight, but she's in good health.
Yeah.
The doctors look at her like your numbers should not be where your numbers are at for how overweight you are. But, she's lost weight. She's actually lost a lot of weight in the last year because she switched to drinking diet sodas.
Yep.
But start off with something that you like.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Now, I would say, in a perfect world, nothing was better for you than drinking just water. Like, just water. Only water would be better than 2 or 3 real sodas.
For sure.
And only water would be better than 2 or 3 diet sodas. Mm-hmm. But obviously, there are some of us who are like, I can't just drink. I do drink water, but I don't want to drink just water all day. I'm like, I need something with some flavor in it.
Yeah.
So,
I usually balance it out. Almost every drink that I have is a different type of drink. So,
but I get tickled about it because they're like, that's not natural. I'm like, you think our table sugar is natural?
Yeah.
Like, the sugar that's in real sodas is not natural at all. It doesn't come out of the ground like that. Corn syrup is not natural. So, and neither is a lot of the other stuff in there. The flavor, the dyes. It's like, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
everything in moderation.
Right. All that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
Am I worried about diet sodas? No, not at all. I used to be, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Patrick Sixstring. Next question, Walking Dead, who had comment of the day. Hashtag curling. If y'all could have one major restaurant / retailer come to Canton, who would it be?
Ooh. Retailer, like TG Maxx, Marshalls, something like that. That'd be great. Hobby Lobby, Target,
Academy.
I know everybody's like, Target. Be quiet. Target's awesome. Target Dollar Spot is the spot for dollar stuff that is cute. So zip it. And they have a Starbucks, usually always inside of there, and we don't have that.
Starbucks is not as good as Pony Espresso. We have a Pony Espresso here in town. We have a coffee shop, a little mom and pop coffee shop. It's way better than Starbucks.
Yes, it is. I have to say that.
Screw Starbucks.
Yes. But TJ Maxx, Hobby Lobby. Yeah. That'd be great.
Chili's.
Yes. I know that is very cheesy, but Chili's. Or a really good Italian restaurant.
I can make better Italian food at home. I've never had Italian food at a restaurant that was better than cooking it at the house.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And every time we go to a restaurant, I'm like, all right, I'll get the spaghetti. I'm like, this spaghetti's not, how do you screw up spaghetti?
I know.
Like, how do you mess up pasta? Or how do you not mess it up, but like, how do you not make this as amazing as I can make it at home? And I'm not even a chef.
Right.
Like,
that's because we go to like not real places. I don't think that we've ever gone to a real Italian food
I
restaurant.
don't know. That place where Mom and Ron used to go.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
It was an Italian who owned it.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It wasn't that great.
So yeah, that's what I would do with clothing stores. I mean, I love our little shops and stuff, but there's only so much like Texas chick country that you can shop. Oh, that's
Cowboy boots and rhinestones.
So like I said a bad word, but I really didn't. I just stuttered because I have a slight stutter. But yes, that's what I would like.
Target.
I'm trying to think of places that we used to shop at, and like
you only get one choice.
Kohl's.
One major restaurant or retailer. You only get one.
Hobby
Lobby and Chili's. Thank you, Walking Dead. Amazing question. Final question, Barb Mel from Leo. Have you ever written a song or a worship chorus that you used in church, be it a Sunday service or some special event?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
We have a long time ago.
We have. I know. I was thinking about
You would think that we would write more together.
I don't remember it, but I remember writing it.
Yeah. But because it was off of, was it Isaiah? It was in the book of Isaiah. It was one of those. It was like the Redeemer or the wall. You come to defend the defender of something.
I don't remember it at all.
I do. I remember that much because it was our pastor was preaching a sermon, and Ryan was like, "Why don't we write a song that goes with this sermon? Because it's a really great sermon series." And so we opened up the Bible because at that time there was a couple people that we were listening to that all they did was sing literally Bible lyrics. They put it to
You want to be scripturally accurate?
Sing Bible lyrics.
Scriptures.
Just sing Bible scriptures, Bible lyrics, Bible scriptures. And so yeah, that's what it was like, something about like the defender or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it very.
I probably have the chord sheet somewhere.
But whenever I started thinking about it, I start singing Ben's song.
Oh yeah.
Good to be with you.
Our good friend Benjamin that I was in the hip hop band with put out a record.
Oh my god.
I remember it. Part
yeah, because it was like chugga 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 chugga.
It was rocking. There was distortion and stuff, and
yeah.
We used to. Nobody knows that record's not out in the public. No. I mean, he made a CD. We got it somewhere.
We do at the house.
And you never heard that. And I'm not going to get copyright strike on that.
Because it's
not out there
at all.
But we used to play the crap out of one of my best friend's songs that he wrote. I was like, that's awesome. Because it rocked.
Yeah, we played it with the youth.
Played it in the youth band.
In the youth band, because the adults just didn't get it.
Adults don't like to rock. No more rocking for them.
Because again, there's an example for Tactical Six String that the diversity of our worship team, we had youth worship for the youth service that was more rocking.
We could rock out.
And of course, that again depends on your youth pastor. And our youth pastor at that time used to be an
old
hippie
who liked to rock.
who was a metalhead.
Led Zeppelin.
And so he loved to throw any kind of electric guitar in there.
Yeah.
And he loved any kind of artist that had that kind of sound to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to dig it up. I don't remember the song. I could probably play it. It wasn't overly complicated.
Yeah, so we don't remember our song, but we totally remember Ben's song.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go, Ben. Love
there you go, Benjamin. Freaking Benjamin. When's your next? How's your album coming?
Yeah.
Benjamin. When's the next record?
My heart beats to praise your name. That's what it says.
It's good to be with you is the name of the song.
It's good to be with you. But that was that first line.
I love that one.
Forgot that. I was like, man, praise your name.
That was great. That was the hit.
It was.
That was the hit off that worship album that Benjamin wrote.
Yeah.
It was the rockinest one, that's for sure. Anyways, that is final question. Thank you, Barb, Mel, Leo. And if you have a question for next week, please type it down below in the comment section of this book, and we'll this video.
I've heard of both.
We're talking about, whatever. And we'll try to answer that next week. If you watch this entire video from beginning to end, it's probably still 45 minutes long, which is amazing for me to go edit right now.
Yeah.
So excited. Secret hashtag today is hashtag Dune.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Hashtag
I guess
Dune.
I'm going home and watching Dune because Paul has it on his voodoo.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't the
I scroll past it like, I don't want to watch that. Because all I can think of are 2 scenes in that whole movie that crap out of me.
They tried, they failed, they tried and died. I was like sticking the hand in the box. It was like, pull your hand out, you'll die. It's like, many have tried and failed, tried and died. I don't know why I remember that one. That particular line. You're gonna, when you watch it, you'll remember it. Just Fun Guitar remembers that line.
Yes, I'm sure he does.
All right, and that is it for this week. Type that down below so we'll know you watched this entire video, and you'll be extra Dune legend status. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Got a couple videos coming out tomorrow, next couple of days. A couple of unboxings of guitars, a couple of new Guitar Day things going on.
Hooray.
So excited if I actually edit them. And we'll see y'all then. Until then, keep the music alive.
Don't forget it. When he does.
The music needs you.
And you need the music.
And you need to buy a Kirk Hammett Gibson guitar and keep the evil corporate machine going because they're broke as crap. Apparently.
Keep that machine going.
Suing people's faces off. And evil empire.
And let us know if you visit any churches.
The spice must flow.
Or what your churches sound like. What you grew up with and what you listen to now.
Yeah. Sounds good. See y'all then. Bye.
Bye. See you later. See you later.
You should write a song about aspartame. I think it's pour some sugar on me. Saccharin. They sing about saccharin.
Pour some saccharin on me.
They sing that in there. Sweet to taste saccharin. Hey, it's the lyric. I don't know.
I don't know either. That's weird.
I like Sweet and Low. It's my jam.